In 1914, the Hoovers are living in London. Europe is bracing for war. World War I engulfs Europe. Nowhere is the situation more critical than in Belgium. The nation is blockaded. 10 million people face starvation. Hoover takes on the task of Belgian relief. The Commission for Relief in Belgium raises over $1 billion from government grants and private donations, most from Americans. If you tell them what is needed, Hoover says of his countrymen, they will give you anything and everything. Hoover himself accepts no salary and personally pledges amounts far in excess of his net worth. Of his mining empire, he says, let the fortune go to hell. Hoover organizes a vast network of factories, ships, and volunteers who distribute food and supplies. He negotiates between warring governments to allow food to cross the blockade. Belgian children receive an extra ration of white bread and soup, soon called a Hoover lunch. Hailed as the great humanitarian, in 1917, Hoover set sail for America. Hoover takes charge of President Wilson's U.S. Food Administration, and the country soon gets his message. Only through conserving food will the war be won. In November 1918, the war ends in an Allied victory. An uneasy peace settles over Europe. Famine stalks the exhausted continent. Once again, the great humanitarian takes command. As before, Hoover relies on volunteers to administer and distribute the food. Though he dislikes Lenin and the Bolsheviks, Hoover accepts an appeal to feed the Soviet Union. Your help, says writer Maxim Gorky, will be inscribed in history and will long remain in the memory of millions of Russians whom you saved from death. September 1939, the world again goes to war. In the wake of the fighting, Europe is left a ravaged continent. President Harry Truman pledges a global relief effort and chooses Herbert Hoover to lead it. 25 years after last feeding the hungry of Europe, Hoover the humanitarian returns. Called back, he says, like a trusted family doctor. He oversees the massive relief efforts, visiting 38 countries in a race against time and famine. At the age of 72, Herbert Hoover is once again a living symbol of American generosity.
The story of Henry A. Wallace is the story of a man who changed the world. His agricultural innovations changed the way we eat. The increased production those advances brought about changed the way we work. The national programs he created changed the way Americans relate with their government. And the ideas he advocated, like civil rights and national health insurance, changed the way we think. Raised in an influential Republican family, as a Democrat, he introduced major social reform and progressive capitalism into American government. To say that Henry Wallace was a complex man is to redefine the notion. Wallace rose to national prominence because he understood farming at a time when 1 in 3 Americans made their living on the land. The dramatic increases in yields his corn hybrids triggered brought wealth to farmers and options to us all. Workers who were no longer needed to produce the nation's food went on to pursue other careers. In no small measure, we have Henry Wallace to thank, both for the abundance of our food supply and for the wealth of our opportunities. As Roosevelt's Secretary of Agriculture, Wallace created New Deal programs that were described as the most radical social experiment ever attempted.
That you take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. I do.
As FDR's vice president during World War II, he played a major role in the executive branch, the first vice president ever to do so. After losing the 1948 election, Wallace returned to the science of agriculture full-time. Through his continuing crossbreeding experiments, he developed several new varieties of strawberries, chickens, and of course, corn. The company he founded, Pioneer Hybrid, is the world's largest producer of hybrid seed corn. And at one time, over half of the world's chickens were said to be related to Wallace's prolific egg layers.
He'll always be remembered for his scientific contributions and for his humanitarian ones, and I think, from a personal standpoint, from his vision to seeing the world and its needs like few other people of that time.